Here we go, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
What's up? What's up to another edition of Down South Sports Fanatics? Yeah, I got my boys. I'm bringing them along with me. I got my boy H-Town Chris in the house. What up, Chris?
What's going on, y'all?
What's going on? What's going on with you, brother?
Feeling good, just like Derek Carr and the Saints moving the football last Sunday.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. And of course, my man, the voice himself, straight up, Dave Robin. What up, Dave?
What's up, guys? Who that? Who that, fellas?
What's going on, you? What's up, brother? You ready?
Let's rock it out.
So listen, we'll dive into it right quick. Get the Saints talk out the way right quick. Then we're gonna go some national news. So what y'all thought about the first game? You know, what you think, Dave?
Oh wait, hold on, Rich. You good?
Yeah, you good. I can hear you. We hear you.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I'm on location, man. Sorry about that. My
No
buddy's
problem.
house
Go
on
ahead,
location.
brother. We understand it. Go ahead.
Oh, you said about the I lost a little bit, so follow up the Saints game. You said, right?
Yeah, what you thought about Carr, his first debut?
Oh, dude, I thought he was as smooth as it could be, man. I mean, you know, new team, new situation. I mean, I know it's preseason, but man, that was a lot to get excited about, dude. His timing, his footwork. I mean, you just saw something that wasn't there last year with either quarterback. You know, he's able to get out the pocket. He's able to, the timing of the plays. I mean, dude, he's looking through his progressions, the accuracy. I mean, dude, I think he had 2 incompletions. One of them was kind of more so a drop with Olave. But, I mean, he was brilliant, man. I mean, Kamara, Carr, Michael Thomas, that first unit, Juwan Johnson, a lot of guys looked really sharp on that first unit.
What impressed you, Chris, about it?
I think it just looked like Breeze ran offense. I don't know. It just looked real smooth. Everything was precise.
That was my take, too.
It was just moving in the right direction. There wasn't a lot of mistakes. Kamara looked like the old Kamara from 2020. I really like Juwan Johnson. He's just a big, massive type.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I think a bunch of this smoke and the mirror stuff with all these tight ends they brought in and stuff. I think at the end of the day, I think Juwan Johnson's going to be the guy there. You know, I think him and Carr is going to have that good connection. You know, the jury stood out on Carr. You know, because I'll stand on what I said. I thought he was just a slight upgrade to Andy Dalton. You know, that remains to be seen. I'll be the first one to admit if I'm wrong. You know, I'll be the first one to admit that because Lord knows I want my Saints to win. You know, so but I just I came across Alvin Kamara looked fresh, man. He looked smooth.
Yeah. Good burst, good balance. I mean, he looks like he's confident, man, back there. It looks like he almost knew he had, he's coming off a down year, the off-the-field issues. Like, he's poised to have a big season. I mean, you can just see the way he ran. I mean, for a preseason game, for a superstar back like Kamara to come out like that, he's trying to make a statement, you know. He's trying to put all that behind him. And it's like he's got a kind of a fresh start once again, you know, after a rough period of time.
It's true. I mean, a lot of that, you know. I mean, I think the defense looked really good. You know, other than Alante's getting burnt on that one play. You know, they look fluid. You know, Adebo looked really good and fluid coming out of his breaks and backpedal and everything looked really smooth. Of course, Lattimore, like everything come out of camp, Lattimore's having his best camp ever, and he looks like it, man. He looks like it.
Oh yeah.
So, Chris, give us a little insight on your Houston Texans, man. What you thinking?
I tell you, the defense looks phenomenal. You know, they practice this word called form down there for Nico Ryan. Iron sharpens iron, storm mentality.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. C.J. Stroud threw an interception. He's a rookie.
He's a rookie, man. Yeah.
Right.
Every rookie threw an interception except for Bryce Young. But Bryce Young got sacked a good couple of times.
Bryce Young got sacked more times than he wants to remember in the red first.
Their O-line looks bad. But
Hey, dude, that wasn't pleasant, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Stroud was pretty calm. He was cool and collective, but he's a rookie. He's going to start week 2 Saturday.
I tell you what, man, y'all got the right coach there in Houston. That guy's going to be. I like him, man. Class act. You know, he leads with a stern fist, and I like that about him. You know, he's a player's coach, but he leads with a stern fist. And I tell you what, I think they're headed in the right direction. They really are.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
go
ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say I agree. I think Ryan's is I think I mentioned this before. Like, he's relatively young, and I think he can connect to a lot of these younger players. And we have a very young team. I mean, Stroud. I mean, Dameon Pierce. All of our wide receiver rooms are all young, but I think he can connect to those guys a lot more. Lovie Smith, 50, 60 years old, a little outdated. Slower. Miko brings energy.
A lot of respect for Lovie, man. I mean, Lovie's had a great run in his career, but y'all needed somebody with a new generation coming in, young class rebuilding. You needed a young guy to grow with them.
Yeah, I agree with that, Dave. I agree with that. I like Lovie, but Lovie, I think the league, like we talked about a few weeks ago, I think the league as a whole is changing. I think it really is.
Yeah.
The younger guys are coming in, and I think Sean Payton in Denver's going to find that out. It's a different league now.
It is, man. I wonder if that year off's going to hurt him, man. And he's getting into some stuff already. I mean, the Hackett thing don't seem like it wants to die. People are kind of putting a lot of stuff out there on social media. So I mean, he's almost asking for a lot of pressure, And I mean, for a team that's coming off a bad year, I wouldn't add any more pressure, in that situation. I mean, you're trying to get that thing on the right track. And all that outside noise just doesn't make sense. And I got a lot of respect for Sean. I like his, I like the kind of little bit of cockiness that he has, but it's going overboard with this situation, I think.
Yeah. So listen, I wanted to get y'all, before we dive into some other signage and stuff around the NFL, the big topic this week has been the Michael Orr situation. Is that not crazy or what?
It's pretty wild. Hollywood could definitely alter things. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about that family, but it definitely is Hollywood. I mean, scripts are one thing and reality is another,
I mean, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. You say it. Go ahead.
I don't know which one to believe on this one. I mean, here you have, I don't know, man. It's hard to believe both sides on this. Here's this successful football player, and then this family that takes him in. I mean,
well, as far as the legal matters, he filed it legally, and there are reports legally that they did not adopt him.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like some people are saying, oh, well, if you watch the movie, some people are saying, oh, well, they were chasing this guy, but dude, they own like 50 Taco Bells or something like that. These people weren't hurting for money. You know what I mean? They were very wealthy, so it's not like they were using this guy for anything. I mean, they
definitely wasn't hurting for money at all. That was definitely not the case.
Hey, y'all mind if I jump in on this one?
Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I had to do a lot of homework for our show this week on this.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's never been stated anywhere that he was adopted. Anywhere. I found that out in both of his books or in the movie. It's never, ever been stated that he was adopted. He actually, in his book he wrote, even says it was a conservatorship or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
He admitted that himself. There's also reports coming out now saying that he's tried this before to blackmail them for $15 million. Before.
Wow.
That he has or they have, the family?
He has. He's trying to get money out of them, or something about he would come clean about, like, or put negative stuff about him out. So it's not looking good for Mike. There's more stuff coming out, but I thought y'all would hear that. That's been the latest as the past couple hours.
But thank you for that. In case y'all didn't know, that's our Fatty 316 producer of the show. Just so y'all know, keeping us up to date. I tell you what, that's another thing, man. The family, the Trudy family has not come out and spoke about this at all, and that's another weird part about it. I don't know if they feel betrayed or whatever, but I know it's.
I mean, it's weird, dude. I mean, it's what's weird is like too. I would like to know. I mean, out of curiosity, I'm sure we could Google it somehow. What did he end up getting benefit, compensation wise from that movie?
Hey, that's the rough job, but they did come out today, Richie. That's who's reporting about the $15 million.
I gotcha.
They did. This actual son and the dad came out today. I'm pulling it up for y'all now. Sorry,
That's crazy.
didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is, but man, why would he sue him for $15 million? The guy's making tons of money.
See, that's what I was about to say. Did he get compensated well from the movie? I mean, he played what, like 8 to 10 years in the NFL. I mean, he played for Baltimore for a while, and somebody else can't think of right a second, but
yeah, he was one of the highest paid freaking offensive linemen for.
Yeah, when you play tackle for 8 to 10 years in the pros, you made some money. You know, I mean, it's not like you were a backup long snapper for 2 years or something. Or a fullback for a year. No, you played an 8 to 10 year career at a tackle position. You had to make some, unless you made some real horrible like MC Hammer type choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
don't know if I mean, I'm just saying something had to give. I mean,
unless he was just spending all of his money. He's broke. I can understand, but I mean, he seemed like a pretty good young kid that had his head on.
Yeah, I mean, and it's sad because we root for that situation, Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all watched that movie. It was a movie that like really captured the world. It's like, especially the way the world's screwed up nowadays, that's like the perfect kind of movie to bring people together. And it's like, you know, you really feel like it's almost like Chris Rock and Will Smith. You don't know who to root for in that situation. You know what I mean?
What's up, guys? I'm back now.
Oh, I got you. We having some issues with this rain, dude. It almost feels like rain's like been gone for 2 months. It's like what is this stuff falling? You know.
We just kept rolling. We just kept going with.
That's the way you do it, man. That's the way you do it. When you lose sound, sometimes that's how you got to do it. Thank you on that, Fatty. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I was watching a cool video. Speaking of that, man, like, you ever seen Kurt Cobain just lose his guitar on stage on TikTok, man? That was a cool video. That dude just goes with the flow, man. I'm like, I tell you, like you said, man, you just got to keep moving it on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people. So listen now. I want to dive into a couple of the signings around the league, you know, what you think about them and stuff. The Dalvin Cook especially, that's getting a lot of national recognition right there. He signed a 1-year deal with the Jets. I mean, I don't know how this guy fell from grace so quick in the NFL. I don't understand it.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, huh, Chris?
Yeah, I agree. I think Dalvin Cook, I'm not putting him up like LaDainian Tomlinson or Adrian Peterson, but there's no way you can tell me the Vikings think Madison's better than Cook. There's no way. If that's not money, that's got to be money.
Absolutely.
Thing right there. There's no way. Cook is way better. I don't know the situation in the Jets just because they've got Bryce Hall. And he's the starter, but unfortunately Cook now is 26, and now he's a backup already?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. Zeke, I can understand. He's maybe, I think, a year or two a little older.
Yeah.
He's 2 years older.
Okay. I can kind of understand that.
But Zeke's got a lot of wear and tear. A lot of wear and tear.
Oh, yeah, he got that mileage, yeah. Dalvin had the injury problems early in his career that kind of deducted.
Yeah, but the last 2 years, he's been very good.
Yeah. And Madison's not the most efficient guy. I mean, this is a guy that's been sub 4 yards a carry the last 2 years. I mean, so he stays
hurt. He stays hurt.
Yeah. And then they don't have anybody behind Madison. I mean, you're talking about what, Ty Chandler and Keeney, you know. And I mean, I don't know. And Dwayne McBride, the rookie out of UAB, I just don't see a lot there. It's not like you were loaded with running backs where you could go make that move, you know?
It frustrates me. It really frustrates me how the NFL is handling the running backs. It just it's almost it is not almost. It is. It's devaluing the position.
Absolutely,
all these good young running backs, and they're making it just appear like Madison's on everybody's team at RB2, RB3, and they can make RB1, and it's just like it doesn't. I don't know. I don't like that, man. I think
that's crazy. It's crazy. Fatty brought this article up, and that wasn't that long ago, man. I mean, it's crazy how these two guys were on top of the NFL less than 2 years ago. I mean, you know, maybe Zeke a little longer, but still, man, it's like, wow, the running back position is just diminished so quick.
Oh, these guys were like top 10 fantasy backs, 2 years ago? Like you said, I mean, like everybody was drafting them in their fantasy teams before Pollard came along. And I mean, Dalvin Cook really was, you know, he was still solid last year. I mean, he didn't have his most efficient year, but he still put up together a pretty good season altogether.
Yep.
I mean, years ago, you just didn't see 1,000-yard rushers just get released. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a thing 10, 15 years ago. I mean, like what was that like Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Thurman Thomas, Jerome Bettis? I mean, these guys were very heavily valued at that point. Now, it's like, is it Bill Belichick? Is it Sean Payton? The fact that they use these multiple back systems and maybe people, just feel like, hey, I can replace that guy that's making $8 million with a rookie coming out that's making a rookie minimum deal for the next 2 or 3 years. It all comes down to money. Let's be real, and salary cap.
What's that article say there in terms of winners and losers? I'm curious what their opinions are on loser. See,
it says after it just basically says after months of unsigned, two of the NFL's highest profile running backs find new homes. It's crazy.
Well,
I mean,
why is Breece Hall why is he the loser here?
He's not going to challenge Breece Hall. I don't think. He's
a lot of people think that he's taking Breece Hall's starting job.
I'll tell you what, I still say look at Izzy Abanikanda. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that kid out of Pitt, but I still think that kid, he's a Brooklyn, New York native, man. A lot of people like him out there in New York, man. I mean, Izzy, I don't know. I think they had two good young backs. Look, I don't hate them for getting Dalvin Cook. Why not get him? He's sitting out there for the taking, But Breece Hall is a different kind of animal to me if he's healthy.
He was solid.
Yeah. I mean, his numbers were outstanding before he went down.
Loser Josh Jacobs. What does Josh Jacobs have to do with this?
I mean, Josh Jacobs is still out there. I mean, he's unsigned, and that's the issue that people have with it. I just don't know. I don't know where it starts at with these running backs and where it ends. I mean, it's just the last Taylor 2 years.
So Taylor's in camp now, which was a little bit of a surprise this early. I thought that would extend a little.
Thank you, Fatty. I appreciate that. I mean, the thing. Go ahead.
I think there's like 3 good years now to running backs, and I hate
feels like that. Yeah,
I hate that. It's like just when they're starting to get their feet settled in an offense, and they're really making way. Like, and I'm going to take zone like Dameon Pierce. I mean, we're in year 2. Well, damn, I'm kind of afraid what he's going to do next year. Then in year 4, is he even going to be around?
And you know what? I'm going to throw some out there too, Chris. I think it's bad management. I think it's a lot of it's on the GM, and they're just trying to find ways to cover their own asses at this point. Because I mean, we've seen the Colts make horrible deals, like the Matt Ryan deal. They got into a bunch of money with a guy that was pushing 40, who wasn't the same player. I mean, Minnesota has had to cut how many defensive starters this past offseason? I mean, they lost a ton of guys. So, I mean, I think these GMs are writing checks and just throwing money out there and mismanaging their salary cap. And I think the running backs are the guys that's taking a hit more than anybody. I mean, because you can make an argument some of these defenders are getting older, but Dalvin Cook, I mean, he looked like a guy that still had a good 2 or 3 years left in him. I mean, Zeke may be more of a backup, but Dalvin looked like he still had a little more game.
The thing about it is, I think the franchise tag has really killed the running back position more than anything, because you got to think about it. When they come straight out of college, they're signing a 4 or 5 year deal, and even if it's a 4 year deal, it's a 5th-year option. Then you got to think about this. Then they're going to franchise tag them for 2 more years.
Yeah. So you got most of their careers done at that point.
Exactly.
Like 75% of their careers
done with. I mean, it's not bad. What these NFL owners are getting away with is criminal. It really is.
Yeah. See, like a guy like Mark Ingram really got lucky that he was used the way Peyton used him. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, Mark was able to play into his 30s. And look, I'm a big Ingram fan. I think he's a solid back. Yeah. He's had a great career. But, you almost got to be in a perfect situation. And I ain't going to lie. I thought the Cowboys would give him that similar treatment and just restructure his deal and have him behind Pollard. But, I guess it didn't work out that way. But it's hard now for a guy to have a good career going into his
I really think this started, and Chris, you probably can relate to what I'm about to say. I think this started with Arian Foster. If even going back that far, to where running backs just took the wear and tear, the injuries, and just it was just constantly turnover. I mean, look at Lamar, look at Charles in Kansas City.
Yeah. I mean, he fell off a cliff really fast, man.
Look at Chris Johnson. He fell off a cliff out of nowhere.
Yeah, you're right, Richie. It was slowly happening about maybe 8 to 10 years ago.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's good. I think a lot of those running backs are a last of a dying breed of guys that could play 7 to 8 years. I think the biggest and the most important moment was the Le'Veon Bell situation.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the owners and GMs got mad because Le'Veon Bell was putting his foot down, and I don't care. Le'Veon Bell, he could act a diva, whatever, but the dude was the best.
Oh,
running
yeah.
back. There was not.
Absolutely. It wasn't even a debate.
But
That's a
the way
good
he
point,
handled
yeah.
it, he said, you know what? I'm sitting out for the year. Well, unfortunately, James Conner came along,
Yeah.
played lights out, and said, Steelers
And-
go, we
and-
don't need you. So then all the
Yeah.
other 31 franchises go,
They look, yeah.
we don't have to pay you $30 million a year. And I'm just emphasizing that.
Yep.
And we can do it for $100 million. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
And-
$1
and-
million. I'm sorry.
And I think right now a lot of these young running backs are looking at what happened with Ezekiel Elliott in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Derrick Henry right now. It is like, man.
He's
Yeah.
he's 29, and he's probably the one that
What up, Lance?
has been the longest in that
Yeah.
position.
Yeah.
He's performed.
Yeah. And you know what helped him a little bit, Chris, too, was Vrabel was late to the party with him. Remember, he was still playing DeMarco Murray like a year or two into Henry's career. And that might have actually helped Henry in the long run, oddly enough,
Yeah.
saved him some carries those first 2 years.
You don't see a lot of Derrick Henry situations now.
Yeah.
You see a lot of guys that last 3 to 4 years. And if you're an RB4, and I mean RB4, fourth string on the running back group,
Mm-hmm.
you just wait 1 or 2 years, and you're about to be the stud of an NFL franchise.
And we talked about we touched on this too a couple weeks ago about everybody has 2 running backs now in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to dive into fantasy later, but as you notice, it's hard in fantasy football to get a stud now at running back.
You got to have depth. I mean, you definitely have to have depth. I mean, it's like,
Yes.
Because you never know what. Look, I always make this point, Richie. I always tell Chris this. I always joke with everybody. If you take the top 20 backs from the previous season, automatically extract like 8 to 10 of them for the next season because they will not be there. I'm telling you, so many names change in that top 20 from the previous year. And it could be injuries. It could be guys losing their jobs, whatever it may be. It changes a lot. There's a lot of turnover from year to year as far as the top 20 fantasy backs.
A lot.
Receivers are a little more, quarterbacks are obviously pretty damn close, but that position more than
I'm going to tell you right now, Alvin Kamara's lucky he's got a friendly franchise that really likes him. They really do. They love. I mean, Gail Benson loves Alvin Kamara. Mickey Loomis loves Alvin Kamara in that building. And believe it or not, they could treat this whole situation. They could have treated this whole situation differently if they wanted to.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, they treated him extremely well.
There was reports of him possibly being traded to the Eagles last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that were to happen, you'd be looking at a running back room of Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller.
Right. Looks a little different. Yeah.
We better figure this out. We better figure this out quick.
Yeah. And I think they look a lot better on paper, anyways, with Kamara Williams and Kendre Miller.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. I know we were talking about the Saints. We talked a little bit about the Saints, but I want to say the running backs. I think Kendre. I saw a lot of people being hard on Kendre. The knee issue. Some people on Facebook were really tough on him. I mean, this is kid's first game. I mean, he's going to be fine. I like this kid coming out of college. Jamal Williams. Look, Jamal's not a guy that's going to overwhelm you with athleticism, but he hits the hole hard. He's a good, physical runner.
Yeah.
He's not going to do what Alvin Kamara does. So I mean, when people are thinking you replaced Kamara, you did. I mean, Kamara is still your go-to guy. Jamal's a really good RB2. And, I mean, Kendre Miller is going to be a work in progress. Let's be real. It's going to take this kid a little time to get acquainted.
Yeah, it is. It's going to take a little. It's going to take a little. I mean, I still think that running back. I still think they're going to bring a veteran in, which they just signed Darrell Williams. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's official. I thought it was before we came on. He's a local guy. Most people don't realize that.
Yeah, I like that move, Richie, because, I mean, it's a guy, he doesn't, go crazy. He doesn't make the airwaves go crazy. He doesn't, blow up Facebook, but he's a solid player. He's played on some good teams. I mean, you don't always need a big name at this point. I mean, because let's be real. Alvin Kamara is going to be our guy, and then Jamal, and then, Kendre, and then whoever this other guy is, whoever comes in. If Darrell wins a spot, it'll be him, but – yeah, you need Alvin Kamara on this team. I mean, if that first drive showed us anything, he's going to be very valuable to this team.
Yeah. I tell you, there it is right there. Fatty brung us up for us. he did officially sign with the Saints. That's a good signing for us too. I mean, he's a good character guy. He's going to be good for the locker room. He's a local kid. Local people can cheer him on and stuff like that. He actually played right here at Park Playground on the West Bank.
Nice, West Banker.
So good kid. So he played with the Chiefs, for that little run. So he's got that mindset, of a winner. So that helps out a lot. Yeah. So guys, let's dive into it. People keep asking me. We're going to dive into it right now. Get into it. Fantasy. I don't know if any of y'all have drafted yet. What you done? I know, Chris, you did. How did it go, Chris? How did the first five? How did the first 5 or 6 picks go? Where's everybody going?
We did a family league Sunday. 10 of us, and I had picked number 2. And I'm a big running back guy. Unfortunately, Christian McCaffrey went number 1, so I was ultimately I had to choose Justin Jefferson. So I went with Jefferson, came back and got A.J. Brown, I believe, in round 2. And remember, this is 10-team family, so it's not aggressive.
Yeah. So your receivers are amazing to start out with.
So my running backs, I waited until round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I picked up Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce.
That's not bad at all.
I'm big on Dameon Pierce.
Yeah. Pierce and Mixon's going to get those touchdowns just because of the offense he's on. I mean, with Cincinnati.
10 teams is a little easier. You're going to get a lot more. A lot more better players.
So let me ask you this: talking about the receiver you drafted, to me, there's not, and maybe you would find it differently. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. It's kind of a toss up to me.
It is. It is. Yeah. I still go with the wide receiver 1 on any team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I'm picking a wide receiver 2, I'm hoping he's in my flex spot. That's where I want to position.
Yep.
If I can get Devontae Smith at my flex spot and I'm taking 3 wide receivers back to back, typically you're rostered with two wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can get a wide receiver 2 on someone's NFL team, and a lot of it goes, he goes about in the second, third, sometimes second, just depends on where you're drafting. If I can get him as my wide receiver 2 or flex, I'm doing pretty damn good. But then I'm also looking at the fact I probably don't have any running backs at that point.
So I had a discussion with a friend over the weekend, and I really tried to talk him off and jumping off a cliff because I don't know what he was thinking. And his concept was, when we was talking about the second receiver on the team versus the number 1 receiver, that the second receiver sometimes, just because of all of the targets going to him because of the double team with the number 1 receiver, that you could take a second receiver. So this guy literally did this. I thought he was joking. I tried to talk him out of it, but he did. He chose Jalen Waddle over Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, no.
No, you don't take him over. If you get Waddle at a good value, yes.
In the first round.
No, that's way too high for Jalen Waddle in the first round, I think. I mean, Tyreek's talking noise about 2,000 yards. I mean, I was like,
what did you just do? I'm going to tell you what. I tell you what, whoever was behind you was loving your pick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, let me step out for 30 seconds, guys. Hang on one second.
Y'all me and Chris can dive into it. Go, we can do it. Chris, just go ahead. That's cool. So
there's definitely – I definitely would not advise doing that at all. Now, if you're looking, I'm kind of looking in that third, fourth round for wide receiver 2s. That's typically all that's going to be left there, sitting for you. But Jalen Waddle, no, man.
Yeah. So I tell you what, who I am high on, who I found been going in the first round is Amon St. Brown.
I haven't seen that yet.
He's been going. He went 9th in one draft, and he went 10th on another, and then he went in this other draft. He went on a turnaround. He went 12th.
See, here's why I think there are so many more wide receivers and running backs ahead. I'm not saying about that.
Yeah,
but I think there's more meat on that bone that you could have taken, and I think you could have gotten them on in the second. That's what I'm saying. Like I just.
Oh yeah, that's what I just said. The guy on the turnaround, the guy got him in the second at the 12th, that's fine.
Oh, okay. He came back and got him in the second.
Yeah, what was it?
Who did he get first? Who did he take first? I'm sorry.
He actually took Jefferson. Jefferson
Okay,
fell
so
to him
the-
because he got.
Okay,
I mean, I'm
that's
sorry.
fair.
I'm sorry, Chris. He got Chase. Chase fell to him,
Chase, and then he came back around.
and he came back, and he got back.
Yeah, no, that's not bad. That's fair. That's fair. Now,
See me, it bothers me the way you did it, and I'm cool with it. Waiting that long to draft, and I know it was a family draft. Waiting that long to get a running back, man, that would put me at my nerves bad.
I had anxiety. I had anxiety because I'm sitting here seeing what everyone's doing, and that's another thing you've got to do too in fantasy is you got to just let the draft come.
And you know the family. Oh, I'm taking my favorite player.
Exactly. I know everyone's tendencies. And just in regular drafts as well. Just let the draft come to you, man. Don't. My formula is simple, but sometimes my formula doesn't always work. People are going to come in and.
I hate drafting again. I hate drafting with family, man, because you can't get on them like you want to. And you know, some of these guys, they haven't looked at fantasy in their life, and they're just drafting their most popular players.
Oh yeah. No, there's two in this league that definitely do that, and they just take what's ranked. I get it. I would at least like you doing that than taking like a kicker in the first round. You know what I mean? There's not.
Yeah. Hey, you know what else I find is going really early is 49ers defense.
I don't play typically with a lot of defenses in my leagues, but in this family league we did, and they were one of the top two in the later rounds. I ended up with like Pittsburgh. Kickers and defense are always last. They're the last two.
See, I'm different. The only thing I'm different on you with is I do take kickers earlier, but I'm in a kicking friendly league, so
yeah, no, mine. I rarely play with kickers and defenses, man. I do have some IDP. We do play with some IDP leagues where there's like individual defensive players.
So look, in your draft, let me ask you about this, Dave. I don't know if you noticed this. Bijan Robinson's going very high, dude. Quick.
Extremely high, dude. Extremely high.
Can somebody explain
I think
to me
everybody's
why?
under the assumption that he's just going to like. And look, I mean, dude.
It's not even guaranteed he's going to be the starter.
Dude, here's my thing. Tyler Algier averaged almost 5 yards a carry and ran for 1,000 yards. And that dude, we saw what he did against the Saints. I mean, he ran through us like it was nothing, dude. I mean, he made our run defense look pathetic at times, in those games.
And that was and that's a good. And we have a good run defense too. Yeah,
Atlanta should be one of the top 5 rushing teams in the league if all goes well on their side. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm with you, Richie. I wouldn't go that super high on him. I'm not saying like obviously it's in like Chris knows what I'm saying, like a dynasty league. Yeah, he's obviously the number 1 rookie pick.
Absolutely, yes.
But like in a regular like redraft or if I'm starting a new dynasty league, obviously he's probably gonna go high in anything dynasty. But redraft, I don't know, man.
Actually, believe it or not, in dynasty leagues, Chris, I have Jahmyr Gibbs ranked ahead of Bijan. That's my personal preference. That's just me, though.
Well, he's got a lot less competition. I mean, to me, David Montgomery's serviceable, but he's not. I think Tyler Algier's got a better future than Montgomery.
I like the better team. I like the better line. I just like the overall better, atmosphere for Gibbs. That's just me, though. But I could be wrong. I mean, that's fine.
So much pressure's on Desmond Ridder, dude. I mean, Ritter's got a team. He's got 1 year to prove himself. I don't think this is a 2 or 3 year allow yourself to prove yourself to the league. No, dude, he's got I'm throwing what he did out the window last year. He didn't look great down the stretch, but I think he has this 1 full year. I mean, because, dude, there's no excuses with all that talent that they have on offense,
Yeah.
I mean, you got Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I mean, dude, Bijan, Tyler Algier. The line's not terrible. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of guys that's been playing together for a while on that offensive line. So, I mean, I don't know. Look, dude, he's got no excuses. But like you said,
right.
A lot depends on that offense, dude. Jared Goff was pretty good last year. I know Chris hates Goff, but he was better than people gave him credit for. Let's put that.
So let's dive into, since Chris, us 3 guys, we do Final Fantasy a lot. So let's dive into the duos at wide receivers. Just real quick. I mean, look at the guys we're talking about, like the Jalen Waddle, the Tyreek Hill. We dived into that. What about the Pickens and the Johnson in Pittsburgh?
I'm not the biggest Johnson guy, but I like Pickens, man. I don't know how Chris feels.
Pickens is probably the one that has the most upside and potential. He kind of balls real hard. I like Johnson.
But Devontae gets a lot of targets. He does.
Richie, I think it was a little flawed, though, with Roethlisberger late in his career. He couldn't throw downfield. I think he was a good check down option, but I think Pickens has like that legit number 1 receiver makeup. You know.
Yeah.
And are we sold on Garrett Wilson being that guy in New York?
I'm not gonna lie, I am. I think he's legit. I think he's a real deal, dude. That dude's something different.
I think it's Garrett Wilson, and I think there's a bunch of wide receiver threes around him.
Yeah, perfect
Randall
analysis.
Cobb,
Yeah,
Alan Lazard. I mean, you've kind of merged the Jets and the Packers.
You
just merged them pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Cobb there.
Yeah.
Oh, if something happens to Garrett Wilson, it's gonna. I think he's. Obviously in that passing game, as great as Rodgers is, Garrett Wilson has to stay healthy. I mean, he's like the key.
Yeah.
To me.
I mean, Packers could make it work with Cobb and Alan Lazard because it's
Mm-hmm.
you played with the last 5.
But, yeah. Well, yeah, Rodgers. Look, I've always, I'm a little higher on Rodgers than some, but he can make, like they say, chicken stew out of chicken poop. You know what I'm saying? He's done it.
And to me, man, I tell you what, we played him over the weekend. I don't know where Kansas City's going with this receiving core. I really don't.
Richie, you know what's funny, man? I thought the same thing myself. And then I start telling myself, you know what? It probably doesn't even matter because Mahomes is going to make these guys credible. They still got Kelsey. I like Pacheco, the young running back who didn't play.
But at some point, Dave, is going to catch up with you.
It certainly seems that. Well, yeah, you made a good point because let's be real. I mean, you don't have Juju Smith anymore. I mean, now like you're
they let Harmon go too.
Yeah, I mean, you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling
in the last 3 years. In the last 3 years, and we know Kelsey, he's a receiver, whatever. But in the last 3 years, Kansas City has let their top 3 receivers go. Period.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator, you got it. Okay, Saints playing Kansas City. Let's say that was a week 1 game. I've got Marshawn Lattimore and Travis Kelce the entire game. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to take Kelce out any way I can.
I don't know if you can do that, dude.
I'm just telling you, I'm putting I'm letting Lattimore line up with that guy. I don't care where it's at on the field. I know, hey, he's going to line up in a slot. He's going to line up different spots. But, dude, you got to take Travis Kelce out of the equation. But the problem is, I think they're looking at it like they drafted that kid Rice. They got Sky Moore last year, who didn't have a great rookie season. But I think they're hoping he could be better in year 2. And you got Kadarius Toney, who's like the weird X factor, man.
So Chris, who is the main guys? Who's the duo in Houston right now?
There is no duo.
It's open battle.
It's just so wide open. The only guy right now that's breaking away is Tank Dell, but he's not a prototypical wide receiver. He's a 5'8", small Tyreek Hill version 2.0 is what I call it.
Yeah.
And I think he ends up becoming that. But all the other guys, Nico Collins, Dave's favorite guy, big tall wide receivers. I'm not saying they won't break out.
Right.
I just don't see anything special with them.
Yeah.
I think maybe it'll be Dell and probably maybe Michi would be the 2.
Yeah,
I was going to say Michi. Yeah, I was going to say Michi.
Yeah, because he's intriguing. I mean, he had to battle with cancer and everything, and he was a high prospect coming out. I mean,
I see them 2. There's a lot of people putting Collins in this fantasy bracket of like he's going to be a breakout guy, but I think a lot of people are kind of going with that old school, prototypical 6'1", 6'2" wide receiver. Last 2 years, I haven't been that impressed with him.
Yeah,
but I think the game is going younger and faster and more aggressive, and I think Tank Dell is that guy. And I mean, that dude, if you're not guarding him, he's
So let's dive into what about Cincinnati? Chase Young, not Chase Young.
Best trio out there. Best trio.
Jamal Chase.
Higgins,
T. Higgins.
Yeah, best trio by good margin,
Tyler Boyd
out there.
Tyler Boyd, yeah. I think those.
Yeah, there's no trio that touches that. Yeah.
You don't think?
Yeah, there's some duos that rival Higgins and Chase, but there's no trio. I mean, Boyd, I think, could be a number 2 receiver on like 15 teams in this league easily.
I wouldn't debate you on that, D. You might be right on that.
I'm gonna look that up actually.
I tell you what,
Boyd's a solid guy. I mean, he'll have those games, man.
You know who's getting a lot of praise right now is Zay Flowers in Baltimore, man.
Yeah, he is. That's Poncho's boy.
That's the weirdest receiver room, huh? I mean, yeah.
I mean, you still got
I don't know
Odell,
what y'all think about
Odell Beckham there.
I
mean, I don't
find Odell at all. I mean,
no, I kind of stopped buying Odell 3 years ago.
Wait, Richie, you there?
Thought he.
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh,
I hear
yeah.
you.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I don't know what the Ravens
All right, gotcha.
do there. They, for whatever reason, they remind me a lot of the Rockets, and Dave will know what I mean by this. They're always kind of good, just not going to win the Super Bowl. So they get these wide receivers like in the late first round that just never pan out to be anything more than like.
I think the Ravens.
Yeah, it's like
I think the Ravens are
effort
gonna.
to make the position great. You know.
I think the Ravens are going to be a lot better than people think. I really do.
No, I think they're a good team, Rich. I think they're a good team, but I get what Chris is saying. It's like instead of going and like, hey, let me go trade for like a badass receiver or go sign a free agent, or it's like we get Odell like 3 years after.
They do. They always get veterans. They always get veterans a little bit past their prime. They did it with Aquan Bolden. They did it with a lot of guys that were past their prime.
Guy. Maybe we're just getting spoiled by the thought like, hey, Rashad Bateman didn't work out, so it's gonna be the same thing with Flowers. Maybe Lamar doesn't get the ball to his receivers, but maybe Flowers will flip the script, and change things up a little bit.
I hope so. I tell you what, Baltimore's a totally different team when Lamar Jackson's healthy.
Oh no, he's one of the funnest players to watch in the league.
And most people think I'm crazy, but I actually, I'm a Pittsburgh fan too. I like them, but anyway, I actually have Baltimore winning that division, even over Cincinnati.
It could happen, man. It definitely could happen. I mean, I think a lot of it's as long as if you look at when Lamar was healthy, Joe Burrow's record ain't that good against him.
Yeah, no, I just there's no way the firepower. Burrow's just a different.
When you go to Baltimore, dude, it's a whole another animal over there.
No, there's something about Burrow that.
Burrow's on a different planet.
He has a lot of unfinished business, and he's. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson isn't as serious as Burrow. I'm not saying that, but just
right.
Burrow just has this desire, and I'm not questioning Lamar.
Like you would bet money that he wins a Super Bowl in the next 3 or 4 years. Like no doubt. Like
I think Burrow.
Yeah.
But you're also looking at what Burrow's surrounded.
Why do y'all all look? Why do y'all all? This is my thing when we have this debate. Why does everybody still? I think
and I'm
Burrow
not an
is
LSU fan, Richie. I know that,
but I think Burrow is phenomenal. Myself, could not get past. It's still Cincinnati. I'm sorry.
No, I can't
get past that. I can't get past that. I don't care.
But look, everybody probably said that about the Saints in 2009.
I wouldn't care if it was Patrick Mahomes in a Cincinnati uniform. I still can't get past it.
I think people said that about us in 2009, though, man. I really do.
Cincinnati that's resonating that it just it's odd for you.
They just never been winners. They've never been winners.
I think Richie. I think he changed the culture though completely, almost single-handedly. I mean, look, there's some great players in that team, but when Joe Burrow got drafted, it changed things over there.
Has he?
Yes.
The floor is yours. Explain to me why. I'm gonna give you the last 3 years. Go ahead. Let's start.
Well, no, I know, but it's easy to go off of that.
Why? Why is it?
I'll use Dave's famous line here. There can only be one Super Bowl. and that's
true. So true.
That's true. And me and him.
That's my favorite line. I will use the shit out of that line.
Yeah, we get into a lot of other debates off camera about things. But Burrow is right up there with Mahomes and Allen.
I think I'm not saying he's not. I think Burrow and Mahomes are the best two. My thing is the way it's just the way I look at it, Chris, and this is the problem. I mean, and I apologize. I'm not trying to cut you off. It's a touchy subject with me because the way they're treating Burrow right now is the way I remember Cincinnati. Exactly how it's happening right now.
Oh no, Richie, it's definitely a Cincinnati move, but they're going to figure it out. They're going to get it right.
NFL players used to say people go to Cincinnati for their NFL career to die.
Oh, look, dude, I grew up a Cubs fan. I grew up a Saints fan. I mean, the Pelicans obviously were in some dark days. I mean, dude, you got to feel that you got the right leadership that'll change things. You know what I mean?
There's only one football franchise you go to where careers die. That is the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
Stop.
No, I got to say that, Richie. I mean, why are we not harder on the Browns? I give a little more respect to the Bengals. They've been in the Super Bowl more recently than Cleveland.
Come on, the Bengals. Not only do you have Burrow, but you got You've got Mixon. You've got Burrow's good, but the
See, look at that. Listen, look. Chris Matthews says Burrow is good, but the Bengals are the Bengals, and they always find a way to choke. See my point?
But no, but Richie, I'll say this. I agree with Chris, though, because, I mean, it's not like they're a one-trick pony and it's a passing game. They got this really good defensive line anchored by Hendrickson. You got linebackers. You got some decent DBs. I like their coach. Mixon's a good, fairly solid running back. They're pretty well cut in most areas. The offensive line, to me, has been the big issue for them the last couple of years. But other than that, I think this team's pretty well built.
Chris, listen, I'm not Chris. One of our viewers is chiming in. He just said that. I'm not disagreeing on that. He said I'm not saying this because I'm a Ravens fan, but the Bengals always blow it, and they do. They do.
No,
Chris, they always blow it.
I mean, you can't argue that, but you got to look at that. Look, I mean, like I said, dude, I'm a Cubs fan, and I mean, the Cubs always choked. 2016 happened. You know what I mean?
Listen, you tell me last year. I'm saying this because I told my friend this. I want Joe Burrow to win a Super Bowl. He deserves it. When you're one of the best quarterbacks in the league, you deserve to win a Super Bowl. But to me, and this is just me, I think if Joe Burrow wants to win a Super Bowl, it will have to be not in Cincinnati.
Okay. You're wrong. And hold on. So here's what I'm going to say. There's a difference between a choke, because I've seen the Oilers choke away the Bills game years back.
Right.
I blow it. I don't know what that. But losing a game, they just lost against Kansas City. That's all it was.
Yeah, a great team. Yeah.
It was. It was a game that was a good game, and they lost. But they still got to the dance. They're going to get to the dance this year again. I'm pretty sure of it.
No, I agree, Chris. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, let's be real. I mean, we're Saints fans, but the Saints have choked, over the years. I mean, the 49ers game, the playoffs.
That's a choke.
I'm not saying
the Vikings game was a choke.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Dave. I'm saying the organization as a whole in Cincinnati has choked.
Right. No, I agree. But, I mean, I look at those two playoff games, the 49ers game that year, and then the Vikings with the miracle
Chris,
play.
Dave, you know it. I know it. Chris, you know it. Why hasn't this man been paid yet? Why?
It'll happen. It'll happen. I think it's just a timing issue.
We keep saying it'll happen. So what if we at this point next year we say no? But listen to me. What if we go into this season and we right here next year saying the same thing? It'll happen. Is it wrong then?
Well, if they lose him, they'll have to relocate that team.
Chris, well, you think different? Listen to me, Chris. If listen, it's hypothetical and it's just opinion. If Cincinnati goes this season without signing Joe Burrow to a new contract, did they fail? Is all I'm asking you.
Is he a free agent after this season?
What?
Is he a free agent after?
No, he's got one more year.
Oh, well, then he's fine.
You think that's okay? Come on, Dave.
I think the problem is, Richie, like we watch SportsCenter and we wait for that big deal to happen and we wait for Twitter. And it's like every team doesn't have to copy what the other team does. I think that's what teams get in trouble at,
We just sit here and had an argument about running backs getting paid when they need to get paid. And for the life of us, we're wanting them to get paid in the last, year 3 of their contract?
Yeah.
And they have 3 years or 4 years. They always
Joe's going to get paid, dude. He's going to make some money at some point. Yeah.
Do y'all remember? Do y'all realize we were saying the same thing last year? Joe's going to get paid. Y'all realize we were saying the same thing?
I mean, but look, Richie, until his contract's up, you might as well utilize that salary. Look,
he's not going to forget this. I'm telling you, he's not going to forget this.
I was not here last year, but I can tell you, with knowing that he had 2 more years, I could have told you straight up they weren't getting paid.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert just got paid like it ain't nothing.
And they're not winning anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
He was also in his year last year.
No, Joe Burrow's been in the league longer than him.
That's what I'm saying. So he had what? How many years left was on his contract before?
3 years. He had 3 more years left on his deal. 3.
Well, Richie, here's my thing, man. I just really.
And that even used to tell me, hold on, Dave, hold on. And that don't even go to tell you right there that the Bengals are definitely going to resign. Why cause an alarm and spend this amount of money?
Because here's the deal. I'm not saying personally. This is what I'm saying. I'm just basing it on people that I know live in. The problem is when you and Dave, you know about this. When you get into contracts, okay, when you guarantee all this money, you have to have realistically this money in the bank.
Right. Well, some teams are going to lose.
And it holds up. And your bank, and it holds up. A lot of teams don't want to tie up that amount of money on one player is all I'm saying. I think eventually, I'm not disagreeing with y'all. I think eventually Joe Burrow will be paid. But I think with Cincinnati prolonging this as long as it is, that's it.
I think it's a cap. I mean, it's look, Richie. I don't think it's anything personal. I don't think it's that they're not going to spend the money. It's all cap based because I mean, let's be real. I was, the Saints and Sinners podcast we were on. Two of us agreed on that podcast that the Saints were going to have some real struggles with the salary cap. One of the guys didn't understand the salary cap and was saying, "Oh, it ain't going to hurt us. It ain't going to affect us." But guess what? You start losing Marcus Williams. You start losing Trey Hendrickson. You start losing Teron Armstead. Guess what? Oh, before you know it, you lost 3 top 5 guys.
I also want to say,
you can't keep everybody, so you got to use the timing right. You know
one of our new viewers, Chris Matthews, just has been commenting tonight. I really want to say thank you for joining the show, man. Please share and like it. Thank you. What you were saying, Chris? Go ahead. Go ahead. What you was finishing?
I was going to say, why you have one more extra year of spending sort of quote unquote freely on some players and free agents that you can. Why take that up with Joe Burrow's contract? I mean, he's going to stay.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. He's going to be a very rich man. He's already a very rich man.
Yeah.
He's going to get his 5, 6 year, 8 year.
I'm gonna say this right. I'm gonna say this right now. Everybody says he's gonna finish his career in Cincinnati. I disagree.
I believe it.
Well, Richie, here's my thing.
Mark my words. You're hearing it from me right now. 2020. In August.
But if you tie up that cap
will finish his career. Listen to me. Yeah. Joe Burrow will finish his NFL career at some point with the New Orleans Saints. Mark it down.
Now you sound like an LSU fan now, Richie.
Okay, I'm telling you. Watch.
But no, Richie, here's my thing, though. But let's be real. No. If you sign a guy and you tie up your cap dollars, you do what the Saints did. I mean, and a lot of teams have that. I mean, you're going to lose big-time players. And I think they're trying to manage this thing as good as they can and keep as much talent on that roster as long as they can. And if they don't have to pay Burrow for another year or two, like Chris said, he's a rich man. He's going to get super filthy rich. I mean, there's no way they can lose Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, they might as well start relocating their team to another city if they're going to plan on losing Joe Burrow.
Go ahead.
Your boy Lance here just said, what did he say? One of the frugalest in the league.
Yeah.
That's true. But
no, I mean, it's true. Don't get me wrong. Bad history, but they got to know what they have with this guy. I mean, they can't be that foolish.
That's exactly
what I'm saying?
What I was going to say.
Yeah, you can't be that foolish with Burrow. It's not like there's no. It's
listen to me. Nobody is saying
that. The 10th best quarterback in the league, or 12th best quarterback. This ain't Dak we're talking about here. This is the second best quarterback in the NFL.
It's like those sayings. I know you think everything about me. You're good about me, but pay me.
But look, Richie, I think they're trying to keep Tyler Boyd another year or two. I think they're trying to keep some of those DBs another year or two.
They're not keeping T. Higgins and Jamal and Chase. They're not.
No, they're not going to keep. But I think they're trying to run it as long as they can. That's what I'm saying. Keep Higgins, keep that receiving core in there. They restructured Mixon. They're already making these money moves to try to keep this thing together as good as they can because you're going to lose somebody. Like I said, we had a guest on that Saints and Sinners show a while back. And the dude couldn't have been no more wrong. His name was like Buccaneer Brett or some super fan out of Tampa. And he said salary cap. Well, guess what? That was a bunch of bullshit because we lost a guy that had 15 sacks with Hendrickson. We lost a top 5 safety in Marcus Williams, a top 5 left tackle in Teron Armstead. The salary cap is very real. And if you mismanage it, you're going to screw your organization for years.
Correct. Chris signed Burrow right now to that massive contract. That team really becomes Chase, Burrow, and if you're lucky, Mixon.
Yeah.
Well, I think Mixon's on his way out. I think Mixon's
on defense
I think Mixon's on the way out. By the way, you seen the rookie over there, y'all. Go check him out. The rookie running back.
I agree with that, Richie. I think Mixon's number. His days are numbered.
Hey, Brown, the rookie running back over there. If you're not, he's a good little guy. Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, Mixon. Look, this could be Mixon's last year or last 2 years in Cincinnati. I don't doubt that. He's going to be at that age point by the end of next year.
Well, Dave, most people don't realize how old Tyler Boyd is. Tyler Boyd's been in the league 10 years now.
Oh, he's over 30. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
was he about 31 or something? Or what? I'm just guessing here.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard because T. Higgins has said he wants to stay in Cincinnati, and I get it. But T. Higgins also wants to be paid.
It's going to be hard. Yeah. It's going to be difficult.
So, but enough about Cincinnati. Let's dive into Buffalo, another contender.
Yeah,
Mr. Choke Artist himself too, Josh Allen.
I blame that on Ken Dorsey, though, man. I think Ken Dorsey. Look, I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I mean, I'll tell you this, he's one of the funnest quarterbacks to watch. Oh, I think he's amazing. He's different, dude.
He ain't a quarterback.
No, dude. He's got a cane. He's got the best arm.
Do you know who he reminds me of?
He's got the strongest arm in the league, Richie.
You know who I'm not disagreeing with that. You know who he reminds me of?
Who though? Who has a stronger arm than Josh Allen?
No, but
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know about that, bro. That's a
That's
tough
what I'm saying.
one
Like
there.
Josh Allen's got an absolute cannon, but he's accurate. His timing. The dude wants to win more than almost anybody.
But do you know who they say has one of the strong arms in the league, right? Trevor
Who's that?
Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence.
No, I look. Trevor Lawrence is up there, absolutely. Like arm talent, like those type of guys are up there at the top, absolutely.
I'm not a
But
big Trevor
no,
Lawrence.
I agree, Richie. You just said a perfect
Lawrence.
point. A running
You're not a
back,
big-
and
you're
that's
not a
their
Trevor
problem.
Lawrence
They're going to
fan?
get this guy
You're
killed.
not? You're not a Trevor Lawrence. Why?
No, I don't think Lawrence does anything.
I don't think he's on Josh Allen's level. I think he's a good quarterback.
He's better than Josh Allen.
Oh no, not even close. Not even
Oh,
close.
absolutely
Not even
close.
close.
Absolutely
Richie, I got $50 that says Jacksonville doesn't make the playoffs.
I got $50 that says Jacksonville runs
$50
away with
saying
that.
Jacksonville.
Oh, you crazy?
No, they're in the South. I'm
on.
sorry. Let me forget that. Jacksonville won't win a playoff game. I'll say that. They will
They're
not win
winning
a
their
playoff
they're
game
winning
this
their
year.
division.
I'll
They're
bet
winning their
anybody
division.
that. I think that team. Oh, they're winning their division.
I
They're in
have
a
Trevor
favorable
Lawrence.
spot
I have
right
Trevor
now
Lawrence.
with the way the division's set up. But I don't think they're beating anybody.
At the end of the 2023 season, I have Trevor Lawrence as the top 5 quarterback in the league.
No way. No way.
You think? Okay.
I think a lot of people want that to happen. These writers.
Oh,
I think he's a good quarterback. I really do. Richie. I think he's top
He's better,
8.
he's better than Justin Herbert. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
He ain't better than Jalen Hurts.
The body keeps in trouble. Lawrence is garbage.
He is garbage.
Look, this is a good. Look, this is a really good freaking topic, y'all. Because I'm Richie. I'm not going to give you Josh Allen, but I'll play devil's advocate with other names. But Josh Allen is way better to me right now. And I like Trevor Lawrence. I do, man. But Josh Allen's on a different planet. It's the three, Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen are so much better than everybody else.
Come on, stop. You cannot put Josh Allen in that category.
With what?
Oh, he's definitely there. He's definitely there, Richie. I think the play calling. Watch Buffalo's playoff games.
He's a turnover machine.
No, but it's his offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey puts him in horrible spots. If you watch playoff games, they will abandon their run game. They put this kid in a horrible situation.
Wait.
I think
he had the same amount of turnovers the year before when he had Brian Daboll.
Whoa.
No, but turnover machines are like Jameis Winston. This guy's not a turnover machine. This guy doesn't turn over the ball that badly. I don't know what his numbers were last year exactly with interceptions, but it's not a high number.
I'm listening. Go ahead, Chris.
So I'm shocked that you actually said he's a turnover machine. The man had
because he doesn't commit many turnovers. Yeah.
He had 35 touchdowns.
What?
Yo, let me hold on.
Yeah.
How many picks?
Go ahead.
35 touchdowns and 14 interceptions.
I couldn't hear you, Chris. I'm sorry.
35 touchdowns, 14.
Yeah, that's not bad. 14.
The year in 2021, 36 touchdowns and 15. How's that turnover?
What about fumbles?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're getting picky, but I'll look it up.
What?
But Richie, I can see the fumbles too, but I think his coordinator gets him in trouble there, man.
I bet you had 10 fumbles. I bet you had 10 fumbles last year.
It doesn't say fumbles.
Oh wait, I lost you, Rich. Hold on. You there?
I'm good. You still we hear you. We see you there.
Yeah, I'm here. It doesn't tell me fumbles on here.
Anyway, I mean, listen. I think Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback. I'm not saying he's not.
What were the fumbles? I didn't hear the fumbles.
I said I thought he had at least 10 fumbles last year.
Look.
No.
How many fumbles did he have? What did we come up with? I would say it's probably 4 or less. I'm gonna say 4 is the over.
Listen, I'm not. So I get that you. I get you think Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's in my top 5. I have Jalen Hurts. I have Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen.
No.
Absolutely.
I'm
sorry, I do.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I think Jalen Hurts has a better offense around him. But I think Allen's a better passer. Like Josh Allen's passing ability is superior to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts to me has a long way to go to catch up to Josh Allen.
Did y'all hear the breaking
Allen's a more dangerous runner because of his size.
Can't hear nothing but Dave.
Did y'all hear the breaking news on Saints? Taysom Hill's got a serious strain oblique.
Damn.
Oh really? Damn, that's not good.
That's not good at all.
Yeah. You just made the truck drive off the road somewhere, Chris. Poncho's lighting a candle somewhere.
Singing.
So it's an oblique injury. Look, Richie. So I think he'll miss the rest of the preseason, and that's it. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. Look, Rich, a lot of guys in baseball get that injury. He'll be okay.
Four fumbles, Richie.
Hey, whoa. Did I not say the over
under
4?
In 19.
Look at 2025.
Look, this isn't Jameis Winston we're talking about here.
I was half
You
off.
know,
That's a lot.
I was half.
I think Jameis had 4 fumbles in 1 week in 2019.
No, I like Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts, one thing is when he's down that goal.
No, Hurts is a heck of a quarterback, no doubt.
He's a good goal line.
Okay, well, look, dive into it. Give me your top 5 right now. Give me your top 5 quarterbacks right now.
I would say Mahomes. I would have to say Allen, Burrow.
You got Allen over Burrow?
Yeah, I got Allen over.
Oh my God.
Allen's consistent.
Are you serious right now? I got Burrow almost.
Where's the 4 and 5? Hold on.
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
No, I got Burrow almost.
Where's
with
the 4 and
Mahomes.
5?
I almost got him 1A and 1B.
Mahomes
and Burrow
are not that far.
Oh, wait, what's the 4 and 5? That's what I want to know.
Let me look and see.
Who's that, Chris?
Let me look and see. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody.
Wait, what you doing? Some info?
I'm gonna have to bring my stuff.
I'm gonna give you my top 5 real quick
y'all don't
while
know
you do that,
y'all
Chris.
talking about.
Look, no, Richie. Look, I'm gonna go 1 Mahomes, 2 Burrow, and that's and Burrow, Mahomes. I mean, Burrow and Allen are like a toss-up. I agree with Chris on that. I got Burrow ahead of Allen slightly, and then I've got Aaron Rodgers. Then I got Lamar Jackson.
Aaron Rodgers.
Hurts has got to do it more than 1 year to me.
I don't even have Aaron Rodgers in my top 10.
I'm telling you, y'all. I don't know what.
I don't have Aaron Rodgers in my top 10 in the league.
I don't know if people don't like him because he seems like an asshole, but this guy, look at his numbers the past 5 years.
Now we talking about Mr. Choke Artist himself. Now we talking.
No, but pull up the numbers. I blame that organization the way they've handled things a little bit.
Mr. One Super Bowl,
hey,
some
Drew
of the greatest
was a 1
teams.
Super Bowl guy, and Drew to the day he left was a top 5. But Richard,
Drew
would you
also
say
didn't
this?
play on some of the greatest teams.
Drew to the day he retired was a top 5 quarterback. What's that now?
I've got
but Drew Brees. Would you say Drew Brees was still a top level quarterback when he retired? Absolutely.
But you got Rodgers 9, you said?
Nah, I put Rodgers.
Who's that?
Top 10.
I got Rodgers 15. I got him 15. I got him 15.
I can't wait till we come back here mid-season and talk about this.
I got Rodgers behind Dak Prescott.
No.
Why not?
Let me ask you this: what are y'all basing this on with Rodgers? I want to know. Give me 3 reasons why Rodgers is not a top 5 quarterback.
I got Jared Goff.
Numbers will tell you he is. Records will tell you he is.
I got Jared Goff over Aaron Rodgers right now.
No.
Jeez.
No.
Jared Rodgers do to y'all?
Jared Goff is good. Jared Goff is good.
No, I like Jared Goff. I do. I think I like him more than most people. But Aaron Rodgers, bro, is at a different level.
Dave, you living on the past.
Hold on. Let me get in here.
No, I'm living on last year, dude. He had 2 rookie. If you gave anybody those rookie receivers last year, I'm telling you, maybe outside of Mahomes, I don't think nobody puts.
Okay, hold on. Let me get back in here. I'm going to get my top 5. I got Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Hurts. Those are my.
Yes, got it.
Those are my 5. Jared Goff, I think he's your modern day Joe Flacco right now. That's what I believe. I think Jared Goff is decent. You can do better, but you can't do and you can do a lot worse. Let me back that up. You can do a lot worse. Let me see. The consensus are Lamar.
I think we lost Dave.
Dave's gone. He's gone. Lamar Jackson. And that's the thing. I would almost put Lamar maybe in there instead of Herbert, and that's in no particular order.
Who in their right mind's got Justin Fields 5th?
Man, I like Justin Fields.
Oh, you come on now, Chris. Stop.
Fields. I think you're fixing to see him, and I'll go out there and say I think he's a top 5 quarterback after this year. I'm not.
That's crazy.
Oh man, Justin Fields. Let me tell you something.
So my top 5 is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, and Josh Allen.
Okay, you just lost me at the Lawrence part.
Trevor Lawrence. So Dave's back on. So my top 5 quarterbacks. Here they are in order.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes.
No, I heard him. I got him. I got him. I heard him.
So listen, it's Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. All right. Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen.
Nah.
Jared Goff.
No way.
Lamar Jackson.
You got Goff above Lamar?
Jackson?
The what?
You put Goff over Jackson?
I tell you what, we make wages here, right? I promise you, Jared Goff will finish in top 5 every statistic across the board.
Are we talking about fantasy or like? I mean,
in
fantasy is one thing, but real quarterbacks.
in real life.
Oh no,
if
we
talking
fantasy. I don't have Rodgers maybe top 5, but I got him top 5 as real quarterbacks. Now fantasy, I'd maybe jump a few guys in a different place. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll parlay your bet. I'll take your bet on, and I'll one up. I bet Justin Fields has a better year than Jared Goff does.
No, indeed not. Stop it.
Oh wait, in fantasy we're talking? In fantasy numbers.
We're talking
in real life.
You want real life or fantasy?
Real life. Real life.
I think both.
Stop. Come on, Chris. Now you know better than that, Dave. You know Justin Fields ain't gonna be.
No. I think Justin Fields can have a great fantasy year. I like him a little better in fantasy than I do reality. Although I do think he's a good reality quarterback. I don't think he's great yet.
You think he's better than golf?
In fantasy, the rushing yards can make a difference. Absolutely. Look, Daniel Jones is a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Come on now, Chris.
No, but Richie.
Lance is asking the question: Fields or Trevor Lawrence? Come on now, stop it. Stop.
I'm giving. Look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I see the way both of y'all feel. I'm giving a slight edge to Lawrence right now, but that could change.
I'm gonna go Fields.
Yeah.
So Fields. So
what did Fields do that you think he?
No, Richie, I agree with you there. I look at potential. I think this kid's got a lot of potential, and he didn't have jack shit with him last year.
Fields might not finish the season. He might not finish the season as a starter.
No, Richie. He had no running game. He had Darnell Mooney as his top receiver and Cole Kmet, the tight end. He had nothing. You get DJ Moore, a full season of Chase Claypool, Rashawn Johnson.
I just don't see. I guess you know what I hope. Like I said, I don't wish bad on nobody, and I hope he proves me wrong. But I don't see it in Fields. I'm sorry.
Well, Richie, I'll say this. I've always talked to Chris. Chris could tell you about the debates we've had about this. I think Chicago is one of the hardest cities to play quarterback because, you know me, I'm a big Cubs fan. I go to Chicago a lot. I've been there a bunch of times. And I'll tell you, Lake Michigan, dude, the wind that comes off of Lake Michigan is unreal. When you're playing there in December and January, it is not easy to throw the football. That stadium is right – Soldier Field is right there downtown Chicago on the lake. It's not an easy place to play quarterback. So I don't know what his schedule looks like.
But Chris, what you saying?
Okay, so Justin Fields last year increased his completion percentage, 60.4. His yards, 2,242. 17 touchdowns and 11. Now, let me make my case. Hold on. He started out the year the same way he kind of finished his rookie season with 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Okay.
7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
All right.
About week 5. Hold on. I'm going to get all this out. Week 5, it turned. And I saw it. The game caught up with Justin Fields. And he finished the years with 17 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Now, hold on. This is what's important here. He rushed for 1,143 yards and 8 touchdowns.
I don't like my quarterback rushing. I never did.
Well,
I think he had to though, Richie. I think that team was just so bad.
Hold on. Let me get this out. Then you better stop watching the NFL because every quarterback is fixing to be a dual threat quarterback.
I mean, it depends on what you say. It depends on what you mean dual threat, though, Chris. You got guys that'll pick up a first down. You got guys that listen. Yeah. Andy Reid has already said this is a fact. Andy Reid said, "I do not have one play in my playbook that has a design run for Patrick Mahomes."
And that's what makes Patrick Mahomes so special. And guess what?
He's different planet. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
But what does that say about a guy that is athletic? You don't have one play design in your playbook.
That's okay.
No, but Richie, I think I'm gonna step in here. I think with Fields, there's no way it's sustainable for him to keep running for 1,000 yards.
The problem with Fields is Fields is going to run before he passes. That's what he's always.
But he's got to get that number. He could be a good mobile quarterback and cut that yardage in half and become a better passer. He's got more targets now. You got DJ Moore.
I don't think he's a gifted passer. I don't think he's a gifted passer.
I mean, but look, Richie, we got to give him a little time. I mean, he's 2 years in. He had absolutely nothing to work with.
How much time do you need?
No, but I mean, Richie, if your top receiver was Darnell Mooney, I mean, come on. Like, he had no running back, no receiver. I mean, Cole Kmet's like the 20th best tight end in the league.
I just think there's better quarterbacks that are going to be better that came out in his class. It's going to be better than him. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you this. So, okay, I want to get on the Aaron Rodgers thing because I don't understand this thing at all.
Brock Purdy's better than Justin Fields.
I mean, I can't go there yet. Rich. I think he got on a great run. I want to see what he does this year.
You want to look at stats then?
No, Richie, but stats are deceiving because Jameis had 14 touchdowns and 3 picks, and he was still Jameis. Sean Payton worked him a 5-touchdown game where he threw for 100 yards.
All right, I get that. But
so, he had 5 touchdowns passing and 100 yards. 100 yards in the air.
We're also debating whether Jared Goff's better than Justin Fields. Let's do their numbers together last year.
No, I think Goff right now, if I'd take Goff over Fields right numbers. Now. Yeah, so, Goff's a good quarterback. He's better than people give him credit for it.
No, Goff had an excellent year. He did. Yeah. He had 29.
And he's gonna double that this year.
Oh shit! No, he can't double.
No, I don't think he'll double that.
He'll throw for 40 touchdowns this year.
Ooh, man, I'm gonna go over under 28. I'm going to go 28 over under.
He'll throw over 40 touchdown passes this year.
I'm betting 28, Richard. We got to write these things down, man. If he throws 28 touchdowns, that's a hell of a year.
Plus
he's writing it down.
Better.
I'm writing down 28 touchdowns. I think that's what's over under to me.
Better
28.
than Fields. Better than Fields.
And I'm going to tell y'all one thing. Aaron Rodgers, you want to talk about numbers this year? Aaron Rodgers throws for 35 touchdowns.
I don't know. I mean, Dave, I don't know what you see in Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, he's been one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the league the last 15 years.
I think his arm is dead.
I don't know. No, I mean, dude, if you watch that guy last year, there was a lot of drops from Watson and Romeo Doubs, who I do like both of those players, but they were rookies. They ran bad. Here's my thing, and I tell people this all the time, and I get we're all going to say it a million times that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Oh,
And
absolutely.
I get
He's on a different planet from everybody else. Yeah.
But listen to me. They took his best receivers away.
He's still a Travis Kelce, though. His most consistent receiver is Travis Kelce.
It's still a tight end.
Oh, I mean, it could be whatever it is, but I mean, if you
I can't wait for the day Travis Kelce retired. Patrick Mahomes throws for 50
Let me
touchdowns.
ask you: does anybody know who Aaron Rodgers' starting tight end was last year? I mean, we probably know from fantasy, but I mean, most people probably can't name that. I mean, Robert Tonyan. That guy's terrible.
I think it was
Tonyan's absolutely terrible. I mean, he's got 1 foot out the league. That guy. Okay. His running backs are okay, but his receivers were
Watch what Love does with that. Watch what Love does with that offense. Watch.
I don't think he does anything more than Rodgers does. I will say this though. Aaron Rodgers throws for 35 touchdowns this year in New York. I'll take your
35.
Absolutely, 35 touchdowns and less than 10 picks.
Jared Goff throws 40. Hey,
yes. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. Look at the numbers. Go pull up. I wish if Chris, our buddy Chris, could pull up Aaron Rodgers' stats from the last 5 years. It would just totally support my argument here in court. I mean, that dude's numbers are phenomenal. Aaron Rodgers is top 3 numbers in the league the last 5 years. I don't even have to look it up and Google it.
26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Now, let me say
that's last year, right? That's last year.
Hold on.
Yeah.
2022 was
you can't throw it away.
Hold on. 2022 was the first time since 2010 he threw double-digit interceptions.
He has declined, Chris. He has declined.
But look at his numbers before last year with Devontae Adams still there. I mean, what he had 4 picks.
I'm talking about since his greatest season. I'm talking about since his greatest season.
No, but Richie, 2 years ago,
year in and year out.
Well, Richie, 2 years ago, he threw for 37 touchdowns and 4 picks. I had to hear about Jameis Winston for 3 years, and Jameis never put up those numbers in 7-year-old leagues. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not listening to me. I will always say that Aaron Rodgers, to me, was overrated. I'm sorry,
man.
Overrated.
Wait, so we got the numbers up.
I judge. Listen to me. I'm going to continue to judge.
I can see not liking the guy, but
I don't care. I don't care what nobody says. I judge guys in their biggest games. Listen to me. I will tell you this much right now.
Would you say Drew Brees is overrated? Would you say Brees is overrated?
I am one of the biggest LeBron fans there is, but he is so unclutch. It's unreal.
But I think that was some of the teams he's been on too. Yes. I mean, I think that's some of the teams. I mean, you can't win 4 championships and not be clutch, though. You know what I'm saying?
The Super Bowl is so hard to get to.
No, it's not.
No, but Richie, Brees has 1 ring. We wouldn't say Brees is overrated. But look who won all the Super Bowls. Richie, it's Mahomes and Brady, and nobody else has multiple rings.
Name teams that have had Mahomes and Brady on there.
Yeah, that's the only 2 quarterbacks in the past 20 years besides Roethlisberger that have multiple rings, I would say. What, Eli? I mean, there's not many.
But to me, you got to me. Listen, everybody says, okay, they don't have this around them. They don't have that around them. I've always been a guy to say, thank you with that, Fatty. You can bring the regular screen back up. I've always said that you've got to make less. I mean, you got to make more with less. I've always said that.
Well, Richie, when you say Drew Brees,
And you don't have to be an all-time
overrated.
great to do that. You don't.
No, but Drew did that in his career just like Aaron Rodgers, but one ring. And he's still a first ballot Hall of Famer, top, 5 quarterback, in my opinion, of all time, Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. Let's just say this is just a hypothetical question, okay? Hypothetical. We all agree we think Patrick Mahomes is the best, right? If you take Patrick Mahomes and put him on Cincinnati and Joe Burrow on Kansas City, does Cincinnati win Super Bowls?
Yes.
Yeah.
I disagree.
But why?
Because to me, I think it's the franchise.
No, but
the color of the uniform.
Wait, I'm getting okay. I feel like we're fixing to have this whole players.
Wait, Richie, I think you channeled your inner Poncho here. Where's Poncho at tonight?
I'm not saying that because listen to me. I think Cincinnati Bengals are the worst. Listen to me. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are the worst NFL franchise ever. Period.
I don't think 100%. They are, though, Rich. I don't think
their ownership is horrible. Horrible.
How?
No, there's worse organizations out there. I mean, I'd go make a point to say I think we got one in our division that's been ran worse throughout their history. I think the Panthers are one of the worst, honestly. I think,
the Browns are horrible.
The Browns, yeah.
Listen to me. I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about the ownership. And that has come from players around the league.
You can have a douchebag owner. I mean, look, the Baltimore Orioles in baseball has probably the worst owner in baseball, and they're like one of the hottest teams going right now.
Now, I will say Daniel Snyder's probably the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a team that really fell off. As soon as he took over, they hit it. I mean, that was one of the most reputable franchises in the 80s as all of us growing up.
I disagree. CPC, the Bayou Geek says Detroit. I disagree with that. I disagree with
Detroit
that.
For a long time was, though. He's got a good point. For a long time, I mean, Barry Sanders retired early. Calvin Johnson retired early.
The Fords spent money, though. They did. The Ford family spent money.
But Richie, do you see a weird correlation between Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders retiring in their prime?
Who did they spend money?
They could have listened to me.
No, Barry and Calvin Johnson were still in their prime.
Barry Sanders is one of my all-time favorite players, period. And let me tell you what, they could have threw all kinds of money at Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders wanted out.
Because of a bad situation. They're a poorly ran team. Look, Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders were two guys in their prime who were that great, leave an organization. That tells me a lot.
We are human beings. If y'all don't think Joe Burrow is sitting there saying, "Why haven't I got paid?" Y'all crazy.
I think he knows
his agent. And after that injury with him home right now, I guarantee his agent is saying it.
Look, Richie, he's going to get paid no matter what. Deshaun Watson,
you think his agent's happy about it, right?
No, he's going to get paid. If Deshaun Watson got all that money guaranteed after going to a bunch of rub and tugs, Joe Burrow's definitely getting paid. He could break his leg in 4 places, and he's still getting a massive contract next year.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Oh, yeah, absolutely he will.
Absolutely he will not.
Some team will give him a lot of money.
Let Joe Burrow have a season-ending injury. It's going to change that contract, I promise.
No, but y'all remember, you guys were telling me that a couple years ago about Tua. I remember we did a pre-draft show, and y'all were telling me Tua was going to fall in the 4th round. I said, no way. He's going first round.
Knock on wood, it would never happen, but Joe Burrow can go out there and get an injury like Alex Smith, and his career be over with. You think they're still going to pay him?
Oh, somebody's going to take a flyer on him. Somebody's going to take a shot.
If he has an Alex Smith injury, somebody's going to pay him that money. Stop it.
Somebody's going to give him a lot of money.
No way, no how. No way, no how.
Somebody pays him.
Let his bone come out of his leg. No way, no how. He's getting all that money. Guaranteed. No way, no way.
Not guaranteed, maybe, but he's going to get money. He's not. Look, if Joe Burrow is just floating around in free, he ain't going to be like, Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. That dude's getting paid. I'm sorry, he might not make $40 million a year, but he's going to get paid.
He hasn't got paid yet, Dave. I'm asking.
Because of the salary cap. It's plain and simple. It's the salary cap. But Richie, do you not believe the salary cap? Because I had to tell these other guys, these super fans, I had to explain to them, salary cap is a real thing. You have to honor the salary cap.
Absolutely, I agree.
And that's the one thing that's on. They don't not pay them because they don't like
it. And the thing about it is, Dave, I'm agreeing with you 100%. Yeah. And that's why I'm talking about the organization for Cincinnati itself. The problem is, if you give somebody $270 million guaranteed, you have $270 million of your own money tied up.
I think it happens, Richie,
it's a big
next
difference.
year.
It's a big difference.
So I'm going to make this prediction. That deal happens. He gets over $200 million guaranteed the next 2 years.
I'm not saying it's not, but Cincinnati's never given that type of money ever.
Oh, no, but they haven't had Joe Burrow either. I mean,
they've had quarterbacks. They've had players.
Boomer, let's be real. Boomer was a nice player, but he wasn't Burrow. I mean, Andy Dalton wasn't.
Absolutely not.
Andy Dalton wasn't Burrow. They never had Joe Burrow.
I am not disagreeing with y'all at all.
You change your organization.
I believe Joe
things when a guy like that comes
I believe Joe Burrow will get paid by Cincinnati eventually.
But Richie, look at the Saints.
They are handling this completely wrong.
But Richie, let's look at the Saints in our history of quarterback. We got every has-been from Heath Schuler to Billy Joe Hobert to Kerry Collins the day after he got a DUI. We had all these shitty quarterbacks.
Well, you had a money-hungry quarterback in Drew Brees trying to take every dime from the franchise.
Yeah, but golly, man, what would you rather go to? This is why I tell those jokers and that other joke of a podcast over there. Would you rather have Drew Brees in those last 3 years, or Steve Walsh, or Billy Joe Hobart, or Billy Joe Tolliver?
I don't.
No, you want Drew Brees because Brees changed the whole culture.
I don't see Drew Brees. Well, listen, your quarterback that you like, you just
mentioned. What would have gone to Jameis and go 6 wins every year?
I never seen Drew Brees give back $35 million real money. $35 real million he gave back.
But we can't. I mean, Drew Brees is our ultimate player in our franchise history, and there's no doubting.
Stop it.
Richie, you could like Ricky Jackson, you could like Willie Roaf. They might have signed your ball, but Drew Brees is the best player in your franchise history. And it's not even remotely close.
I'm not saying he wasn't, but he also held his franchise hostage too.
But what I'm saying is you change things when that guy gets there. The Saints were known for never paying a quarterback. We didn't draft quarterbacks since Archie. But when you got Drew Brees, you gave him everything he wanted because he was Drew effing Brees. You know what I'm saying? You gave him the money he wanted. That's what Cincinnati's going to do.
You're telling me, and just hear me out before anyone says
it. Good.
You're telling me Drew Brees held the Saints hostage. And then on the other side, you're telling me the Bengals need to hurry up and pay astronomical amounts for Joe Burrow. That doesn't need to be done quite yet. But here's Drew Brees, who's winning, took the Saints, who were irrelevant, to relevance. Won a Super Bowl.
Chris, Drew Brees wanted more money every single year. He wanted to renegotiate.
No, but Drew took a pay cut, Richie. Drew did take a pay cut. He did. He absolutely did.
Stop.
He did.
Come on now.
He restructured that deal.
Drew Brees' contract set this team back salary cap hell for years.
No, Richie. What set this team back? No, not at all. What set this team back was all the horrible moves they made. They made a lot of other bad moves. Andrews Pete set this team back.
What other moves they made?
Giving Andrews Pete a massive contract. Brandon Browner, Jairus Byrd.
Let me explain to you. Y'all sugarcoated.
I mean, look, Richie, you sound like those guys on other podcasts. Come on, man. You gotta be real.
Y'all sugarcoated when it comes to Drew Brees, and that's all that's to it. Drew Brees is the most greediest saint to ever play football in that uniform.
No. Look, Drew Brees never comes here. We're wearing bags probably to this day.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
Drew Brees changed the culture. Him and Sean Payton. I don't know why people have this weird feeling. I watched other podcasts.
He was all about himself. He could have walked away a long time ago. This is facts. Y'all need to speak facts. Because
but look at his numbers the last 2 years.
Listen to me. The year that Tom Brady left New England, Drew Brees was retired until he heard that he was coming to the Saints. And that's 100% fact.
Wait,
and I don't care what nobody says.
Go back to that. Wait. So
when Tom Brady left New England, okay, Tom Brady was coming to the Saints. It's a fact. Tom Brady admitted that.
I don't know if I believe that.
Tom Brady admitted out of his own mouth. Sean Payton did too. They both admitted it. He was coming here. When Drew Brees' agent got wind of it, Drew Brees said, "Oh, I'm not retiring now." Really?
I've never heard that. Look, if we could post something, I would gladly.
That's 100% fact what happened.
But look, here's my thing about Drew Brees. I've seen this other podcast say, "Oh, he held us back the last 3 years because they wanted Jameis Winston to be their quarterback or whoever." Look, I like Taysom Hill. I was wrong about. Look, Hill's not going to be the guy. Winston's not going to be the guy. Dalton's not going to be the guy. Drew Brees could throw left-handed and would have more success than those guys ever had. Here's my thing, dude. You could not afford to lose Drew Brees until the end of his career. That dude was the
franchise never knew what he was doing, Dave. He was so wishy-washy on whether he was retiring or not. He could never give the team a straight answer. Give the team a straight answer. Walk your ass into retirement.
I don't remember that situation, Rich. I don't remember that maybe his last year, maybe. But I don't.
Come on, stop.
I mean, but let's be real. We had people saying Teddy Bridgewater is a better option. How many teams has Teddy played for in the last 3 years? I'm just saying, let's be real.
Who said Teddy Bridgewater?
I could go back to the Who Dat Superfan podcast, and there was guys on that podcast that wanted Teddy Bridgewater. And my thing is
this city has been so blinded by Drew Brees, it's unreal. It's unreal.
But Richie, without Drew Brees, you never reached the pinnacle that you got to.
He didn't have that great of a game. Honestly,
let's be real. What you mean he didn't have that great of a game?
Reggie Bush won that playoff game. Stop.
Oh, come on, Richie.
The man had a game of his life.
Richie, you don't get there if Drew Brees isn't your quarterback.
Dave, you think Drew Brees had a great Super Bowl? Really? You think so?
I think he had a good enough Super Bowl to beat Peyton. He had a better Super Bowl than Peyton Manning.
Now it's good enough. It
was better than Peyton Manning. It was better than Peyton Manning.
Hold on. I'll tell you one thing right now. You're not in the Super Bowl if you don't have Drew Brees.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Richie, I heard enough clowns talk about Jameis Winston, and it drives me nuts. This guy's not even a top 40 quarterback, and I heard he would have been a better option than Drew Brees. But Richie, tell me this. The other podcast, and I'm not even going to call their name.
Unfortunately, I will say this. I appreciate everything Drew Brees done for this city and got us our first Super Bowl. But unfortunately, Drew Brees had more bad seasons than he had good.
Come on, Richie. Jesus, man. I don't know. I don't know. Let's pull. Can we pull up Brees' numbers on the?
You better believe it.
Drew Brees single-handedly cost us playoff games the last 3 years
Richie,
by himself.
By
himself, Dave.
I don't know.
By himself. He threw 4 interceptions in one game.
What game was that? The Minnesota game we're talking about?
Yes.
All right. So the Minnesota game. That was the game the year that he had the cracked rib injury, right?
He single-handedly lost that game himself.
He had the injury to his ribs.
I don't care. Crap rib, this, that,
but the same people that say that defend Jameis Winston with a back injury who was absolutely horrible.
I don't care about Jameis Winston either.
But I'm gonna keep bringing up Jameis because I heard this silly narrative from other podcasts saying if Drew Brees would have retired 3 years sooner, we would have moved on as an organization.
It's silly to even put Jameis Winston in the same breath.
No, Jameis Winston couldn't hold Drew Brees' footboard. Absolutely not. Yeah, even Drew at 45 is better than Jameis at 25.
I'm not sitting saying Drew Brees is not an all-time great because I think
Jameis is our third best quarterback, maybe fourth best on the roster.
I also think Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers should have won a lot more games.
So I see Chris got the numbers. Now, I'm not going to be able to read it, Richie and Chris, but y'all going to have to tell me what I'm seeing.
I can see on my phone here. So
all right.
You want to go?
I'm not saying Drew Brees wasn't a stat king. That's all he was a stat king.
But you got to the playoffs. Richie, you got to the playoffs almost every year.
Look at the records of those teams when he broke the records. 7-9, 7-9, 7-9.
Yeah, but Richie, look at his overall starting record.
Come on, man. Stop.
Richie, you acting like he didn't make us, how many division titles we won.
Man, look, I'm on record. Listen, I'm on record right now. Drew Brees played how many years in this league? How many years?
15.
15 years. This is what I don't understand.
Joe, listen to me. 15 years. Patrick Mahomes has been in the league 6 years. Patrick Mahomes right now is a better quarterback than Drew Brees ever was.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback of all time, in my opinion, Richie. I think he's already the best QB of all time. I will say that right now. He's the best of all time.
The NFL is totally different.
Yeah, you can't base anything on Patrick Mahomes. That's like basing it on LeBron and Jordan and say, hey, Brandon Ingram's not a good player because he's not LeBron or Jordan.
Thank you, Fatty, for that. But but Dave, Dave, you're not going to sit here and tell me you wasn't disappointed a lot of years.
I mean, I was disappointed on the no call because I think that wasn't his fault. I was disappointed in the Minnesota Miracle because that wasn't his fault.
The no call. Give you that. I was there for that game.
The Minnesota Miracle, the Minneapolis Miracle. That should have never happened.
Even after the San Francisco game. Even after the no call, the refs give the ball to Drew Brees. Here you go.
No, but the game was over, Richie.
Go down there and win the game. Go down there and win the game.
I don't like to say referees decided the game, but that was the one time in history where everyone knew that was the case.
So he didn't get the ball back after the no call?
It was a different situation, man. It should never got to that point because it never should have got to that point. The game was over.
Go down there and you win the game.
No, but you kneel the ball 4 times.
Because I know what Tom Brady would have did. Tom Brady would have marched down that field and won that game.
But Richie, it wouldn't have been that big of a story if everybody didn't know it was true. And I'm gonna go back to the San Francisco playoff game in 2011. Greg Williams blew that completely. I heard the other podcast talk about that one time. What they failed to mention was Greg Williams ruined that game more than anybody. Everybody blamed Roman Harper and whoever else. Guess what? You should never had Roman Harper and Malcolm Jenkins covering a top 3 tight end in the league at that point. Look, Vernon Davis ate our lunch. Drew Brees did nothing wrong that game. Drew Brees fought us back in that game. He fought like hell to get us back in that game.
I'm going to repeat it. And Chris, it's nothing against you because I know you're not from whatever. I am listening.
He's very familiar, though, with our history, Chris.
I don't care what people say. I am a Saints fan before I'm a Players fan or anything like that. I'm going to call it like I see it with no mistakes about it.
But, I mean, look, in 2020, yeah, he wasn't. In 2019, 2020, you weren't getting the best version of Drew Brees. You weren't. I agree. But listen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's 40-something years old. Not everybody's Tom Brady.
Chris, I'm saying, Dave, why didn't Drew Brees just say, you know what? I don't have it no more. I'm retiring.
Yeah, but what would the alternative been? Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill?
I don't care.
But the alternative was the last 2 years not making the playoffs.
The alternative is not you.
No, but Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, that's the world we want to live in? That's why we got Derek Carr now.
But he's right, though.
It was an absolute failure, Richie. Jameson and Andy Dalton were absolute failures. I felt better with Taysom Hill because I had an unknown about him.
I think guys hold
knew
these
who those other
franchises.
guys
Listen
were.
to me. I think these guys hold these franchises hostage. Let me tell you what. I can tell you right now, there is a lot of hate and resentment against Aaron Rodgers right now in Green Bay. I promise you that.
Well, it's a different situation. I mean,
Why is it? Why?
Because Aaron Rodgers is kind of he's a quirky character. He's been
an
very
idiot.
vocal.
He's a
but
moron.
Drew Brees, listen,
He's a
go find me
me guy. He's a me guy.
But Richie, go find me one negative thing Drew Brees ever said about the Saints
I'm
organization.
tired. You know what? I'm tired of all these prima donna quarterbacks. They need this. They need that. I gotta go get this. I gotta go get that. I mean, it's just play football. Play football.
Listen, I've heard. Listen, Richie. And here's the funny thing is, I've heard other people talk about it on podcasts. I've heard people talk about it on Facebook forums saying, "Oh, you got to move on from Brees." And absolutely, I moved on from Brees 2 years ago. But there's no denying what he did for this organization, him and Sean Payton.
Dave, I'm not.
Listen,
Dave.
I'd rather be with Drew Brees than Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks and winning 6 games a year. You know what I'm saying? Or Dennis Allen and Jameis, or Dennis Allen and Andy Dalton. Listen, for 15 years, you were one of the 3 or 4 winningest teams in the entire league. We never had bragging rights like that before Drew Brees and Sean Payton.
So what happened to this team then, Dave? Under Drew Brees and Sean Payton. What happened?
I mean, you get into the playoffs every year, Richie. You can't ask for more than that. It's hard to win multiple Super Bowls. It really is.
It's more than playoffs, dude. You got to do more than that.
4 quarterbacks that have multiple Super Bowl rings this century. It's not an easy thing to do.
Here's what I'll say to this. And I agree with Dave big time on this. I think it's crazy, but I'll tell you what happened to your franchise. And this is just an outsider. I think after Drew Brees, because he's such a horrible person holding up your franchise, and I think your horrible GM, I'm not at all.
Yeah.
And I think your horrible owner, and I'm just being facetious here,
being real, yeah.
They chose to say, you know what, fans, we're going to give you hope. We're going to sign Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton when you could have just lost that season, drafted a quarterback, chose not to.
Yeah.
So now we sit here and go, oh, man, we won 4 games. Let's go get Derek Carr. Derek Carr will get you probably about another 4. He might make you wild card relevant.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Once again, false hope. Instead of taking it and taking it and rebuilding, like the rest of the division is.
That's not Drew Brees. That had nothing.
We're gonna get our
nothing to do with Drew Brees.
Listen to me. In 4 years, we're gonna get our asses handed to us by this division. I'm telling you right now.
No, Richie, I don't disagree with that, Richie. I think other teams are coming up. I think Tampa's got to go and rebuild at some point, but I like what Carolina and Atlanta do.
Tampa's gonna wind up with the number 1 pick next year.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Tampa's going backwards.
Guess what they're gonna get rewarded with?
I don't think they'll be that bad to get number 1. I really don't. I think they got too much talent. I think they'll win 5 or 6 games. I think they'll be like the 4th worst team.
Who's gonna be number 1 then?
Number 1 worst team in the league? Arizona.
Arizona could be,
I think Arizona's the worst team in the league this year. And I think they're going to have a real situation to decide on Kyler Murray what they do with him.
Here's what I think.
I think Tampa wins 2 games all year.
I think the Saints.
I hope, Richie. I do hope so, but I think they're like a 4 or 5 win team. I think they draft top 5 for sure.
I think the Saints should have fired Dennis Allen right after the season.
Agreed.
I think you should have let go of Winston. I think you should have went in there and what was the first pick this year for y'all?
And Richie, Chris, I'm going to say this: one of the big mistakes, and dude, I like Chris Olave, but trading a future first to move up for a receiver when you don't even know who the hell your quarterback is, that was one of the worst GM moves in history, in my opinion.
They moved the first. That also, and I'll tell you another tidbit that was not on Drew Brees that I will preach to the day I die for the Saints franchise. They really screwed this thing up when they traded, and then they went and got freaking what's that defensive line? Davenport.
Oh my God!
Absolutely.
And Drew Brees was sitting there.
Listen, we
Richie,
we all know what happened. The plan was we all know what happened. The plan was they were drafting Patrick Mahomes. We know this. Andy Reid moves up 2 minutes before. 2 minutes. I'm sorry, 1 minute before the draft. Before the clock runs out, trades up in front of the Saints and takes Mahomes.
Right,
and that's life. That's life.
So that tells you. What does that tell you? What does
That
that
tells
tell
me
you?
Mickey Loomis is not a great GM.
What is that?
He's
But
a
what does that tell
capologist.
you? What does that tell you that Sean Payton was moving up to get Patrick Mahomes? What does that tell you?
I don't know what he was trying to do, honestly. There, if you want my honest opinion, Richie, I wouldn't have had a problem. The problem was Drew Brees. You were so close to being you were a contender. I don't think Davenport was the right pick.
Dave, I get what you're saying, but why would you move up to get a quarterback if Drew Brees is in his prime?
Oh, because you got to get the next guy in house. I mean, he was approaching 40 years old at that point. I mean, you got to get the next guy in. Yeah, he wasn't in his prime. He was 39 years old.
Is Drew Brees still playing in 2020 if Patrick Mahomes is on his team?
That's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say what happens. I can't, I mean, look, you know how I feel about Mahomes. I think he's the best quarterback
the way he's
ever.
playing
Already.
right now, you think Drew Brees will still be on the team?
No. I get what you're saying, but you didn't have a Patrick Mahomes. You didn't have anybody else in that roster.
I said the Saints drafted Patrick Mahomes. If the Saints drafted Patrick Mahomes instead of Lattimore, is Drew Brees still on the team in 2020? That's all I ask.
No, but you can't fault that Lattimore pick. That was a hell of a
You're
draft.
not. I'm asking you a simple question. If they took Mahomes instead of Lattimore, is Drew Brees on the team in 2020? That's all I'm asking.
I think so.
I mean, but we're getting into fantasy world, though, Richie. I mean, I think we're getting too deep into it. Yeah,
No.
I think we're getting
The
too
answer
many
is
what
no.
ifs.
The answer is absolutely
Well, but Richie,
no.
but you asked me before, did Drew Brees mess up the Saints organization?
So
No, the contracts that messed up our organization.
I think Patrick Mahomes would have backed up Drew Brees.
No. Drew Brees would have backed up Patrick Mahomes.
No.
I don't think that. I think Brees would have moved on and retired. Yeah.
I think what you're
Drew
looking
Brees would have
at-
never been a backup for his team.
I think what you're looking
Why not?
Because the great quarterbacks, they're going to retire before they like Tom Brady is never going to be a backup. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a backup.
So better for the team, you're not going to be a backup.
I mean, no, I just don't think you could take a legendary quarterback. What legendary quarterback ever backed up a young quarterback?
Yeah, that's not going to work. Because
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't happen. It's ego. It's
Joe
a lot
Montana.
of things.
You're looking.
I mean, why are you going to pay Drew Brees $30 million?
Joe Montana was a backup.
For who?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Joe Montana was a backup when he left San Francisco.
No.
You don't remember? Absolutely,
Steve Young
he was.
took his spot when Joe got hurt.
No.
Yeah, Joe Montana went to Kansas City, Richie.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Can I get
Go ahead.
So the way this thing works is this isn't really like I understand what you're seeing, Richie. Is you're seeing what you see in Patrick Mahomes now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put yourself back as a fan back in 2020, 2019 when that draft happened. You yourself know this. He's not starting over Brees. Number one, it's Brees. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes will not eventually jump over Brees. Will that happen? Absolutely. But at that point, you invested so much money in Brees.
Yeah. He didn't start over Alex Smith, Chris. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so so hear me out. So it wouldn't matter what quarterback you brought in. Drew Brees is still going to be the quarterback because it's Drew Brees.
Million percent. Absolutely.
That's where you're wrong.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm
that
listening.
year he would have been a starter, no doubt.
Here's the thing, and this is the way this thing works now. You got to put yourself in this football team here.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting upset, I guess, or kind of debating that a better quarterback now, and Drew Brees at the age of 39. We knew what you had at Brees.
Okay.
Teams are drafting a quarterback in the first round with the quote unquote O's.
So you think a team owes an all-time great something then? You think
Richie, I don't.
Hold on.
All right, well, listen to you. You think a team owes an all-time great something out of respect or something, and you can't put them on the bench.
But Richie,
you can't put them on the bench. You can't put them on the bench. You can't put them on the bench. Is what I'm saying.
Not the way he's performing. No.
Can you run him out of town?
Richie, look at his numbers the last 3 years.
Can you run him out of town? Because we all know Belichick ran Tom Brady out of town. We know that.
And look what happened.
Look what happened. How much success did they have? Brady won a Super Bowl.
But did he run him out of town?
No, but that was a stupid ass choice on his part. He's got Max freaking Jones, and then Tom Brady won Super Bowl.
He ran him out.
But that wasn't the right option. That was the wrong answer.
So why did he do it? So why did he do it?
Dumbass. He let it get personal. And when people let things get personal, that's the problem.
Yeah, listen. We've kind of gotten all over.
No, we're not. Because I'm not one to listen to me. When your time is up, I don't give it. I'm sorry, and it sounds
right.
selfish. It sounds foolish. I am not one too long on somebody's history of a franchise. Good, you did good.
Yeah.
Bye. Sayonara. See you later. Bye bye.
And I think he left at the right time, Richie. I really think he left at the right time.
I think he left at the wrong time.
No, but who would you replace him with?
It's just like people. It's just like people that still want to praise Sean Payton. Sean Payton was in over his head. That's facts. Sean Payton walked out on his team. That's facts.
I think he took a year off, and I mean, it is what it is.
He took a year off because why? Because he didn't have his good old buddy Drew Brees with him no more.
No, I mean, look, we don't know what
Stop.
No, but we're speculating with that. I mean, he gave us 15 years, and not like the guy ran off after he won a Super Bowl like Nick Saban did.
So it's funny he leaves 2 years after Drew Brees?
No, if I was him, I'd have left too. I gave you 15 years. Drew's gone. Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, my quarterbacks. I don't, hey, I want to take a year off. Perfect time. I mean, we can't hold a gun to a guy's head and say, hey, you must coach us for 18 years instead of 15. He gave us 15 years of his life. He turned us around. Look, life was better with Sean Payton here than it was before.
All right, so hold on. I'm gonna break up in here for a minute.
Okay, I'm just listen to me. I'm now gonna judge Sean. I am now gonna judge Sean Payton on where he's at now. That's how I'm judging his career.
Absolutely, Richie. I agree with
So
that.
go ahead and beat that monster in Kansas City now. Once
he's got a lot to prove. Absolutely, I agree.
No, he's got more. If he don't, he's a failure.
Richie,
if he don't win, he's a failure. If he don't win in Denver, he's a failure.
No, but Richie, here's my thing. I want to say: Breeze didn't hurt the Saints at all with his contract. Breeze actually took pay cuts twice late in his career. Mickey Loomis would hit like Chris said, the Davenport draft pick, that draft class that they had.
Horrible.
They had some horrible draft class.
That was one of the worst moves ever.
Andres Pete is a guy we've overpaid for years to play mediocre and miss a bunch of time. I mean, you could go on. There's several guys that they signed.
Hear me out on this, and I want to bring this up, Chris, because I know people talk about Pete. I'm not a Pete fan myself.
Right.
But the respect that Pete gets around the league from the players is crazy.
Oh, it is. He's the most overrated guard in football.
No.
Yeah.
Players around the league say he's one of the top guards in the league. That's why he gets voted to Pro Bowl every year.
And I think the Pro Bowl voting has become so out of hand with guys. I mean, look, DeMario wasn't even voted in the Pro Bowl, but he's a four-time All-Pro.
I'm talking about players in their self
Right.
think that Andrews Pete is a top guard in the league.
And Richie, let me ask you this: is DeMario Davis not a top 3 or 4 linebacker the last half decade?
All day long.
Absolutely, and the players don't vote him into the Pro Bowl, but yet he makes All Pros all the time.
All day.
That's what I'm saying. That's all you need to know about the Pro Bowl.
Well, listen, guys, we got to end this. We've been on for a while. Go ahead, Chris, make your point real quick before we get off.
Oh, I got a lot of points.
But save it for the next show. Save it for the next. Save it for the next show. And listen, guys, we're all gonna come on after the Saints game, so y'all we'll keep y'all posted.
Yes, sir. Hey,
all
good
right,
show,
guys,
y'all. I like the good debates, dude.
It was heated.
I love it, though. I love it. This is what I like, man.
I want to say this before we do leave. Don't be mad at Drew Brees. Be mad at the Saints.
I have a Drew Brees plaque right behind me. I just call it like I see it.
They have never drafted a quarterback in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That's your problem.
That says a lot.
Yeah,
that says
I
a lot.
agree. It says a lot.
Absolutely does. Yeah.
When they try. Well, listen, y'all. Good night. Thanks, everyone, for the comments that joined us. Make sure to check out 501 Paints, Limitless Entertainment. That's our sponsors. Look, thank you, Fatty316, for being our producer. Chris, Dave, man, peace out.
Good
Have
show,
a good
guys.
night.
Good
All
show,
right, brother.
y'all.
Later.
All right, man.